Let's switch first to the NFL. A lot of false positives in the NFL this week. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it. First, I'll start with you, Kevin. Going forward, false positives with multiple teams in the NFL. 77 of them have been tested thus far.
Yeah, I'm more worried about false negatives. The false positives are a concern, and they're popping up throughout the country in normal everyday tests for people. And the medical experts have warned about false negatives. So the NFL, has an issue, and the Bills certainly do. They were hit by it, Josh Allen included, with false negative tests. They have them retested in their own facility. Oh, we're fine. That's great, but I'm trying to figure out how many people actually are positive as the league goes forward and now may be spreading as well. The testing is not perfect, and we're finding that out.
Well, what about the testing? I mean, here we are, how many weeks away from the start of the NFL season, and we've got players we're not even sure have it or not, and they're continuing to practice? Pat?
I'm not sure what else you could do.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. So Pat, we have false negatives. We have players concerned, multiple teams now involved. I mean, we're very close to the start of the season here. This is a big concern.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, what happens when you get to week one and you have a false positive or two amongst teams? What if one of those players is a major player on your team? Kevin brings up a great point about false negatives. I guess I was naive in thinking that there was some lab in every NFL city that was taking care of this for them, right? Like, I just assumed that the test went on a van, they drove them down the street, and they took care of them. The fact that these things are being shipped out of state for most NFL teams is a little bit concerning. And now I would also be worried that when you get these positive tests, that because you had these false alarms for 77 NFL players, that these teams are going to take the positive tests a little less seriously for the sake of competitive advantage. And we've been here before, right? It's a legitimate problem. And if you are having problems this close to the start of the season, what are you supposed to do to remedy it? You might be stuck here.
It might alter a team's schedule. It might alter a team's season if they have a false negative or a false positive. Either way, going forward, and affect you, because the NFL, is week to week.
What will the NFL? Will the NFL be as flexible as Major League Baseball is, where the Marlins have had games postponed? The Yankees, there must be 10 teams that have lost games to positive tests, and they've rescheduled doubleheaders and they've moved them. So does that happen with the NFL? All of a sudden, you're going to have a game on a Wednesday night that was supposed to be the Saturday before, whatever day it was supposed to be scheduled.
Well, but the problem with that is it's not like you can play a doubleheader in the NFL. Heck, you can't play an NFL game 6 days before the last NFL game. So in that scenario, you could have an NFL season that goes 23, 24 weeks, and then you start getting the playoffs?
They have a game Sunday and then play on Thanksgiving. I mean, that's happened for, and there are some other quirks with the other Thursday night games. So they could do it. I just don't know if they'll be flexible and there's no fans to worry about. So as long as the network is on board with it, then it's easy to do. If you don't have any fans, you're not worried about refunding tickets, rescheduling a game in that regard. It's pretty easy to do as long as, NBC or whoever says, yeah, we'll do it.
But in that nightmare scenario, let's say, because you're going to have to wait 2 weeks, right, with the positive test, with the things going through teams, at least 2 weeks. So you would have to be rescheduled at the end of the season. So think about a scenario where you have a team that is 3 games back of a playoff spot, that is 3 makeup games left to do, and they'll be playing 3 of those games in, 16, 18 days right before they have to play a playoff game? I mean, Kevin, it's doable, but it's a nightmare. And
it is. There's no question it is. But I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Are they flexible? Do they just cancel the game and then they just go on percentages like baseball is going to have to do?
We'll wait and find out as the season approaches.